Lauren Daigle was on Ellen not too long ago.
Yeah.
And she gave.
Was she a guest or was she performing?
I think she performed and she performed.
Wow, I didn't know that. That is a big deal. I did not know that.
I think she performed, and Ellen is openly gay.
Yeah.
Openly married to another gay woman.
Yeah.
I would hope.
Lauren Daigle, huh?
I would hope.
You stupid.
For her to be openly gay and like not married to somebody else. That would be wild.
The look Keith is giving off right now.
Y'all can see.
Right.
The camera's on.
Right. The camera is now on.
Thank God for the group chat. Go ahead.
So, Lauren Daigle was asked about her point of view on homosexuality.
Mm-hmm.
And the response did not go over well.
Does anybody have the response? Can we read the response?
Simple. She didn't go into it.
I know.
It was an ambiguous response to it. It was, look, this is not what she said, but this is the essence of what she said. Hey, man, I'm just trying to sell some records, okay?
Right.
Like, why y'all trying to mess up my money, man?
I just want to sing.
Right.
If you gay, buy my album. If you not gay, buy my album.
Right.
If you confused, don't be confused about this.
Right. Buy my album. Right.
You know what I mean?
I didn't come on here for this.
Right.
But that's what first of all, here's my thing. That's what the media does with Christians all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, justify this, or we're going to crucify you.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. They always ask believers about their stance on homosexuality.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are you always asking about us about this to divide us? Not like, no. Like, why?
So here, I agree with part of her statement.
What? All right, let's look up what she said. Lion, you looking up what she said?
No.
All right. I'll look it up. Go ahead.
So I understand what you're saying, like, why ask these questions? But with you being a star, with you being a celebrity, pretty much, you have to know that people are about to ask you these questions. You know what I'm saying? And when you answer a question in a way just trying to get out of it, like, that just makes you look even worse.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know for a fact these people are going to come to you, and if with you being a Christian, with you being a celebrity, you know they're going to ask you, hey, how do you feel about Bill Cosby and what he did? Okay, cool. Hey, how do you feel about such and such? And okay, while we're on the topic, how do you feel about homosexuality?
They ask people questions about current events. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Not this. It's not, I wouldn't even call it evergreen. I mean, it kind of is evergreen content. But why? Like, why always ask about this? You know what I mean? Like, we know, first of all, our core beliefs. Right?
I think part
and
of
that's
it.
like, come on, like, ask about something about that. Like, ask about, about that. Like, but I guess that's tantalizing, and I guess that's
Ain't no
salacious.
clicks. Ain't no clicks.
Yeah, huh?
Ain't no clicks for that. Ain't no clicks for
That's
asking.
what I'm saying. Salacious, just clickbait type stuff, and it's like,
but I'm
no comment.
I'm not no comment.
You're not content with no comment?
Nope. I'm not.
Because I would say no comment and then comment on why I'm not commenting.
So I heard somebody, I think the Breakfast Club, they asked Kirk Franklin a question about Kanye West a while back.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Kanye West bringing Jesus on the stage during the Yeezus tour? And Kirk sat there for a second and he explained what he was about to say. And his explanation was the best explanation I've ever heard. He was like, man, you know what?
Kirk is 30 years in this month.
He is.
He probably done 30 years in surviving.
Right. He is 30 years in. However, if you know you're about to start having interviews and doing interviews, you know the things that people are going to ask about. You know what I'm saying?
But this is Ellen. I have a 10-minute segment. I'm probably on here talking about my kids. Before that, talking about.
To be clear, I don't know if this was actually.
It wasn't on Ellen. It was. She didn't.
Comment was made.
Yeah, Ellen didn't ask her that. Somebody else. I forgot what interview.
Because Ellen is openly gay.
Right.
You're a professing believer. You're on Ellen. What are your thoughts on homosexuality?
Right. So this is what Kirk Franklin said. Kirk Franklin said, "Man, there's a lot of things that I could say right now. However, this microphone is a very powerful tool." And using this microphone and he said this microphone is a very powerful tool, but also Kanye West is a friend of mine. And I have not yet had a conversation with Kanye about how I feel about what he did. So me expressing how I feel about it on this microphone, knowing that Kanye will probably hear this conversation, probably hear our conversation, would not be the best thing for our friendship. So I'm going to say I'm not ready to talk about this until I have a conversation with my brother.
Kirk a real nigga.
Right. That was the best way for you to say that. So for Lauren Daigle, I just feel like she could have said something like that. She said, I have gay friends, and I love my gay friends, but I'm also not God type situation. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, that was probably the worst thing you could have said. It's the worst thing you could have said for either side. You know what I'm saying? Go for it.
Here's a quote. I can't honestly say on that. Daigle took iHeartRadio host Dominic Natty last month. That's what told him. In a sense, I have too many people that I love that they are homosexual. I don't know. I actually had a conversation with someone last night about it. I can't say one way or the other. I'm not God. So when people ask questions like that, that's what my go-to is. I say, read the Bible and find out for yourself. And when you find out, let me know, because I'm learning too.
Okay. Now, what was the question?
Daigle's appearance on the Ellen Show put her on a collision course with the question she must have known was coming.
Exactly.
Yeah. Does she consider homosexuality a sin?
Exactly. The question was, do you consider homosexuality to be a sin?
Hey, that boy Cameron, Mike, you know it's over.
The question was, do you consider homosexuality to be a sin? Mm-hmm. You went all around it and said, I don't know.
Yeah.
Ask God. Yeah. I'm not God.
You are a representation of whom God is.
Exactly.
You are his representative here
right.
on earth.
So that's my thing. I'm just like, bro, like my response with that question would have been something like, you know what? I do have a whole lot of homosexual friends.
Yes.
And I love each and every last one of them.
Yes.
But me answering this question right now on this show and not having this conversation, I'm also a Christian, and I do have some very strong beliefs and values about homosexuality, just like I have about heterosexual sex outside of marriage, just like I have about lying, everything else. You know what I'm saying? So I have these strong beliefs about these things, and I've also committed sin of heterosexual sex outside of marriage. Yeah. So I believe that the Lord looks at my sin just same way that he looks at any other sin. Yeah. Would I say that homosexuality is sin based on what I believe about the Bible to be true? The Bible says that homosexuality is sin. I would have to say this homosexuality is sin. Yeah. But I'm still want to have that conversation with my friends before I go all out in, I'm not calling these people bad people. Right. I'm just saying, based off of what I believe the Bible to be true about, based off of me believing the Bible to be true, I'm saying this is what it is.
Right. I don't love anybody any less.
Right.
Because of how they choose to sin.
Right.
Or what sin captivates them. Or what sin has them in bondage. Most people wouldn't say that.
Right. I'm just saying.
But let's be clear on this podcast. We believe that sin is sin, right? We do not hate anybody for how they are sinning. We just say we believe in a certain truth, or we believe that our truth is the absolute truth.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's not to say us, like we're looking at the Bible as absolutely true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I am going to speak for all of us in this moment.
Yeah.
We're saying that what we're not saying is we hate gay people. We hate the LGBTQ community.
Right.
We're not saying that at all. And I think people like in
the church has done a poor
it's
job at. I think we're constantly digging ourselves out of that, and I think it's progressive.
But that's what. But and I don't take it not as a trick of the enemy for that to be the conversation, and for that to be the narrative. Oh, they hate homosexuals. No,
right.
No. And there might be some Christians that get it confused.
Yeah.
It was like, all right, well, cool. If you're gonna hate the homosexual, then hate the fornicator.
Yeah.
If you're gonna hate the homosexual, then hate the drunkard. If you're gonna hate the homosexual, then hate the gambler.
Hate everybody who sins. Hate your damn self.
Hate yourself.
Sorry. I just went in.
You know what I mean?
Sorry.
So that's what we're not saying. We're saying, look, God has a standard. God has a standard, and if you're asking me the question, I'm going to let you know what the standard is.
Right.
And we all fall short.
Right.
So, let's be clear.
We all fall short.
Yeah.
Are we going to... So,
and
the LGBT community is a big community, and for whatever reason right now, they are stakeholders in a lot of stuff, and they can either cause you to rise or they could cause you to fall in some respects. God is ultimate.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like in some spaces they can do.
And another thing that people automatically assume, like homosexual or not homosexual, the automatic assumption is that because you sin, God hates you. So that's where the homosexual community feels like, oh, everybody hates me because God hates me. Because he said it's a sin, then he must hate me. It's like, no, God doesn't hate you. God hates the sin. He hates the sin that I committed when I was out there bad years ago, just doing all the stuff I was doing with these little girls. Anyway, but I'm just saying.
He was the same age as the girls.
Yeah.
Right.
Young ladies.
Yes.
Young ladies.
The young ladies.
Yeah. We gotta be PC these days, man.
Dang. Right. When I was a pissy tail little boy, I was messing with these little girls. So yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. Right.
But nah, I feel like yeah.
And I think but there are some Christians that give us a bad rap, that give God a bad rap.
Very
and
true.
We're all gonna do that from time to time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I just want to be on record and saying, like, that is the heart of God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To make you aware, a part of it is, you're in bondage. You're in sin. I don't know a gay person that wants to be gay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know a few.
I know gay people.
Right, I do.
I know gay people that are like, okay, well, this is the hand that I've been dealt. This is where I am right now. And because this is who I am, they feel like that's who they are.
Yeah.
That they now have to walk that way. You know what I mean? It's not always like this thing of like, I'm proud, which is why pride is a thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, no, we're this way. Like, let's, come on, relish in that. Like, don't be afraid to be yourself when in all actual, and that's a whole nother thing. We don't have time for it.
Yeah.
But, so many people, I just know too many people that are like, look, these are the cards that I've been dealt. Life would be much easier if I weren't this way.
Yeah.
I would be in a different direction if I didn't have this on me. You know what I mean? And so, and it's just, so that's the heart of God. It's like, I want you to be out of bondage. I don't want you to be in captivity. But it only comes through me. You know what I mean? For whom the Son sets free is truly free indeed. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I want this for you. I want you to be your true self.
Yeah.
I will make you your true self.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not mad at anybody that wants to be gay.
Yeah, I think what makes this conversation hard for a lot of people is the fact that, like, we talk about,
because it's their identity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the identity.
I identify with this.
Exactly.
You take this is who
so I don't
am.
identify. Even though I get drunk every day, I don't identify myself for being a drunkard. I lie every day. I don't identify myself for being a right. You know what I'm saying? Like I identify myself for being a homosexual person, and you're attacking who I am,
and I
at
can't
the core.
change that.
Right.
So
that's what makes it hard for people to have the conversation, and that's what makes it hard for a Lauren Daigle who may have gay friends. It makes it hard for her to have the conversation of, man, I think this is a sin. Or if she don't know, she might not really know.
There are a lot of assumptions that get put on. I think this is the difference between like Kirk, answering about Kanye and Kirk being in the industry, or just being around people and just having genuine relationships with people that may not be in the faith, or just having genuine friendships over the years. I think one, we put, I don't even call it pressures, but like, I mean, we assume that Lauren Daigle is maybe somewhere in her faith that she may not be. And it's like, yo, I have a gift. I started singing. Shoot, people happen to like it. I can take care of my family with this. I can potentially build generational wealth with this. And that may be what I see right now. Like, I'm using my gift to glorify God, and it's opening doors for my family. And she hasn't been popping for that long. It's been like, what? She had a hit song
maybe
like
2 years ago?
2 years?
Yeah.
So we don't know where her music career and her faith actually met.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Somebody
probably just wrote a song for her, and she just...
Yeah, it might have been. She might have been doing,
right.
Studio sessions, doing demos, and I was like, "Yo, Lauren, you can sing." And she
Sing this.
She might have been doing studio sessions, recording, and somebody was like, "Yo, you can sing."
Who this song for?
I've been spending all this money on you, but I didn't know you could actually sing.
Right.
I'm talking about people come in. People come in and do demos and do BGVs.
Yeah,
and find
she
out.
was
Like,
probably-
yo, you could do this on your own.
Right. She was probably the demo artist, like a mom.
Yeah. So we don't know where those things met and where she is at the time. And I think for people to it's just a lot of pressure to put on somebody you don't know and expect her to have this. I think the reality is, it's like this. Like, you would hope that she would have a concise and a clear and a thoughtful and, an honest answer, and an answer that's filled with truth regardless of consequence, right? But that would assume that she's in a mature community, that her, she's around, believers that are building her up and encouraging her, and all these other things that may not be the case. Like, she may be in a season where she's touring and she doesn't have consistent community like she's been used to or wants, and answering a question about homosexuality might be the literal last thing on her mind, because she may be waking up and trying to dive in, or where she may be at right now is in a completely different space with God, and her and God may be wrestling with something that has nothing to do with this. And it's like, yo, she may not be in a space to even answer that question right now.
I agree with that.
Leave me alone.
It's okay for me not to even have to deal with that.
I agree with that.
Like, right now, God has me in a space to where I'm just loving everybody. And,
I agree.
And I want to share...
restoring my idea and my view of dignity
yes.
on
and
people, to all men.
Yes.
Dignity, regardless.
I'm not about to sit here and just be focused on, but you do this, and that person does that, and they need to be set free from this. They need. I think there's a time and place for everything. Well, that's scripture. Yeah, there's a time to kill. There's a time to die. There's a time for reaping. There's a time for sowing. There is a time for you to just sit back and just be in wonder of God's creation, no matter how the pot was made.
Yeah.
And no matter what the pot was made for.
Yep.
We don't know. We're supposed to just see the Imago Dei in everybody and treat them as such.
Yep.
Yeah. That's it.
Nah.
And so from there,
come on, somebody.
I mean, you go from.
But he looking at like
and from. Come on.
But we can process through that because it's like. Basically, PK.
But it took It took It took us time to get there.
I'm 30, bro.
It took us years to get to where we
even
are.
Process that to be able to say, "Hey, look, man. Hey, I don't agree, but hey, there is a dignity that we were made in, and that I don't care what it is that wherever you're at, you're bearing the image of God.
Yes."
And I have to treat you as such.
As such.
Yeah, because she definitely could have came from being one of those Christians who were like I'm super legalistic.
Right.
And now I don't believe that stuff anymore. So now I'm trying to shift my thinking, my way of thinking.
Bro, been there.
Yeah. Heck yeah. I know I've been
10
there.
10 years ago.
Right. And that's how old she is.
So it's just like, man,
you know what I'm saying?
It like, man, at the end of the day, like, one, everybody doesn't need to answer questions.
But that's true.
They don't.
That's the point I want to make. It was a few years ago, probably even 10 years ago, when I started looking at artists like Lecrae and mainly Lecrae.
Yeah.
Right? And they were asking this man all these weighty questions.
Yeah.
Asking him all these heavy questions about stuff. And I'm like, he ain't never said he was the creme de la creme, or he ain't never said that he was like this go-to guy for everything, that he was the guru for Christianity. Like, yo, I'm this. So come to me about any questions that you have.
26.
He's never,
I love Jesus.
Yes.
Right. And I want to make music.
You're putting way too much weight on an artist.
I want to make music.
You're putting way too much weight on an artist and for a person who hasn't even said, yo, I got all the answers.
Right.
Like, if I had all the answers, I wouldn't need the Lord.
Right.
And I think at the end of the day, people look at all Christians.
If I had all the answers, I still need the Lord.
You know what I'm saying?
I think at the end of the day, I think people make. Well, one, we look at at times we look at all Christians as theologians. Granted, we're all theologians because we all have a view of God, whether we like it or not.
And that's a whole topic.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother topic.
Bro, like I'm saying.
And that's a whole topic.
It takes time, fam. Like,
to realize. Like, you have conversations with cats like, I don't need to be the most theological dude in the world. I'm like,
you don't
in a way.
You don't need to be. You don't need to be, but the way you live your life says what you believe about God. Theology. Anyway.
What did the Hottie say? Your theology determines your...
What did he say?
I always...
We get the
Hottie call us and talk to us.
You just need to have him fall through one day.
What we do, man. But yeah, man, I think there's an assumption that there's an underlying assumption, whether we communicate it outrightly or not, where we put pressure on Christians, believers. We don't know where they're at in their faith, and we give them the task of speaking on behalf of the faith. Mm-hmm. And it's not so much that people, like, just like Kevin Hart may have made a gay joke years ago, and 8 years removed from that, he is like, man, I did not communicate that in the best way.
Yeah.
Man, it's the same thing for, I mean, not just Christians, but anybody that's that's growing and learning in anything. Like, the way you communicate things, the way you do things in years past, it changes because you grow, you learn, and it's just different. And yeah, I definitely don't think, one, I'll leave that girl alone, man.
Right. I definitely don't think one. Just man, leave that girl alone.
Man. Not even gonna
right.
It's been 30. Leave that girl alone, man. Let her.
We done went in on this one. Yeah, she didn't really know what the heck was going on.
She's not, and she's 2 years into this. She got a Grammy or something last year, maybe 2.
Right.
I don't know, man. All Christians aren't pastors. And we're all studying to show ourselves approved. And all that stuff, like, man, it takes time to mature in the faith. Just like it takes time for a baby to learn how to walk, eat solid food. There are people, regardless of whether they are famous or not, there are people that are still working on that milk and oatmeal, and there are people in the faith that are having full-blown meals. But at the same time, I can't expect anybody outside of that to fully show or at times maybe not fully understand like what it looks like to extend grace to people. So I hope she's doing all right, man, because it's rough. It's rough.
Yeah.